Thanks for stopping by at Twisted Art Designs. Today I'm going to do a flip through of a completed small Ranger Dylusions journal. I started this in 2018 and it took a while to finish because I'm like a squirrel in terms of journaling. I jump around from journal to journal. So I go from project to project, journal to journal. So it takes a really long time for me to finish one. So this one took about 2 years. So let's get started and I'll just go through and show you some of my pages. So I like to do a lot of collage, and this one was obviously a fun collage with an astronaut and birds and the title of The Face of Things to Come. It's a super crazy world, and how ironic that this was in July of 2018 that I wrote that, and now look at what we're going through with COVID. This one is super layered and textured. It's got napkins and stenciling and die cuts and all kinds of stuff within it, and it's happiness blooms within. So there's some black stenciling here with these raised flowers. It's just very super textured if you feel it. This one is, even if you feel bad inside, be fabulous on the outside. That's collaged and doodled, and I painted in her wild and crazy hair. Lots of texturing in the background and a washi tape border. This one, The Real Resilient You, quirky, funny, caring, artistic, and it's a girl with a dog head sitting on a small step ladder. It's just kind of fun and funky page. My style has evolved and changed a lot. This is Never Be Afraid to Speak Your Mind. I love this one. The bird head on the girl, and there's some Good Earth tea bags with sayings on them coming out of the bird's mouth. As a rule, challenge the rule. I really like that. I like the journaling in the way that I did the journaling on that one. This is my crazy owl. It says, "Who?" And another Good Earth tea bag. A lot of collage, a lot of texture. There's some fibers on here, and the background was done with some things that were from 1900s newspapers and magazines. So that's really just kind of a fun collage. This one I did from a Lori Marie Jenkins video from a really, really long time ago, where you use glue stick and you layer magazines, layer upon layer, and then you take and you tear them. So if you can see it close, it's layers of magazine pages that are torn, and it just creates this really fun background that's very colorful and very layered. And then I used some sandpaper to sand it down, and then I added the collaged image over the top. And then this one, Feeling Melancholy. I love the girl with the nest, bird's nest on her head. This one's upside down, ironically. And this says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, it does not matter if I'm short or tall. If I have skinny legs or my hips are wide, it only matters what's inside. Eyes of blue, brown or green, what makes me beautiful cannot be seen. Who is the fairest one of all?" So that's just one of those, be happy with who you are and how you look and shine from the inside. This is an image off of a very old piece of sheet music, and it is a silent film actress named June Caprice who worked for Fox Studios, and it's circa 1895 to 1936, and it's "I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles" is the name of the song. I just thought that was a cute page to do, to put bubbles on it, and it's got a nice, very textured border that I use black texture paste through a very small stencil. And some of these pages you may have seen in other videos, like I believe I showed this one in the video, one of my videos about ideas for different borders. So some of the pages you'll probably have a repeat of. This is No More Ironing, I'm Burned Out. This is just a funny magazine image collage and images out of a book with a washi tape border. And this one, Everything Changes When You Begin to Love Yourself. The border on this one is a drawn border and a collaged girl with some three-dimensional wings. And this one is a broken heart one about transforming. This is Fairy Magic, and it's got the song of the Yarrow Fairy, and so it's got the words about Yarrow fairies. That's a fun one. And this is my gnome page. I love this page. What would it be like to live among gnomes? To see how they live and visit their homes. What is their culture? How do they dress? How do they keep their homes clean, or are they a mess? How tall do they grow, and what do they eat? And do tiny gnome shoemakers make shoes for their feet? I always love to write little poems that go with my pages. And the gnome is at his little workshop, and I used sharpened pieces from the pencil and Mod Podged those down like he's at his workshop, and there's the wood chips on the ground. So that's really fun. And then I did a silhouette image of a gnome in the background. And the border, I like this border too. The border is made out of punched circles that came from the inside of security envelopes from the mail. Every single one is a circle that came out of a security envelope. Great way to upcycle and repurpose. So this one, Nature Feeds My Soul. I used some flower stenciling and did some drawings, made a fun border. Creating is My Destiny. Share your art. Spread your love wherever you go. I love this girl. The body came from Art Doll Quarterly magazine, I believe, and then the face I did myself. And then there's circles, all kinds of circles on the page. I like circles. This one, Two Birds Never Sing the Same Song. That one's got a lot of doodling in the background, and the girl's skirt is a Tiffany lampshade. I like that. I love to use upcycled and repurposed items that I find in books and magazine as different things. And like this, the bird is sitting on this, and it's made to look like a bird bath, but it's really... This is actually a cup, I believe, flipped upside down, and it makes it look like a bird bath. That's the fun of collage and creating things. And this one, Never Apologize for Being Authentically You. I love that. That's fun. That was a fun border, too. And this one, Don't Fall, It Hurts. And the Humpty Dumpty's got a Band-Aid in his hand. I actually peeled a Band-Aid and stuck it to the page and put his hand over it. So he's holding a Band-Aid. Trying to remain positive is the key to happiness. And I like to cut out funky edges along my pages a lot of times. And then when you open them, you see part of that page along with this page, and it just adds interest to this page. So this is when things go wrong. Day after day, I sit down and have a spot of Earl Grey. And my girls are created out of all different things. This was a teacup flips upside down for her hat. There's a tea bag tag around her waist to tie on her waist, and then a teapot creates her body. So that's a super fun page. I love that one. And life is all about balance. I seem to do a lot of pages with that theme. But the girl's upside down, balancing on her head on a stack of balance rocks. Let me zoom out a little bit here. on balanced rocks and she's upside down on her head, and the bear is balancing on a big ball. I like that. And this one, true friends lift you up, cheer you on, celebrate your success, and are there for you when you fall. And it's stacked up animal friends made like a animal totem. Snap out of it, this too shall pass. That was like a Mary Englebright themed page to try to cheer me up, because I obviously was being grumpy when I did that. It was December of last year, and that's why, because last year I had influenza A and B, and I missed Thanksgiving and Christmas, and so I was pouting because I couldn't be around my family. Under the Sea is where I'd like to be. This was a video on using coloring book pages to create an art journal page, and there's a lot of dimensional things and shiny things. There's sparkle, see the chain on the anchor sparkles, and Nuvo drops on the sea anemones to make them textured and stand out. And then the octopus is from a coloring book. That was really fun. There's magic in the air. This was a fun collage. And then a fun background. I like to doodle my backgrounds with fine liner pens and paint pens. So I do a lot of doodling with paint pens, and I like to use Uniposca extra fine point. I use Molotow and Montana's. So those are my favorite paint pens. Those three brands. This is two little dicky birds sitting on a hill. This is something that my mom used to do when we were kids. And so this page is for my mom. And then she's got a looking glass over her eye, and I used glossy accents over it, and then I managed to mess it up somehow. So it's it's kind of funny because it's like a textured looking glass. Wasn't intended to be, but that's how it turned out. And this I did a video on. This was in the same video about using coloring book images. So these flowers came from coloring book image, and I collaged them with a girl's face from a magazine, and I give myself permission to be me, and then black background so it really stands out. There's a collaged image of a girl in a teapot, and it's I'm a little teapot, short and stout. I think that was in a video on using different things to make lettering on your pages. Never stop wishing upon stars. Here's a silhouette one, so it's where you do your fun background, and then you make your shapes and paint over it, paint around it in a dark color, and I used black, and then your images show through, your collaged images behind show through. So that's always fun to do. Silhouette. This is Find It in Your Heart to Forgive. It's a drawing that I did. And this is a Frida. We do not heal the past by dwelling there. We heal by being fully present today. And that's a cute collaged image. That was super collage. There are so many different things that made up that girl, that Frida girl. That was a fun collage. I love collage. And here's an example of my borders. I've had this in other videos as well, where I like to cut out these funky swirl borders, and then they line up and show one on top of the other. I like that edge like that. So this is, there are flowers everywhere for those who bother to look. And I did a video on how to make those doodle flowers. So there are flowers everywhere for those who bother to look, but 2020 is a big stinkweed. So that about sums it up. And the girl with the making the funny face is the stinkweed on the stem. I love that and it just talks about coronavirus and the crazy stuff with elections and what's been going on in our news. And 2020 is just a bad year. And here is sitting in my garden. So this is forgetting about the news and just going and sitting in your garden to think. And there's a girl sitting in her tulip, sitting in her garden. Lots of collage flowers down at the bottom. And I did a video on this. I'm Fab, I'm Fierce. And this is a paper doll girl with a tulle skirt. So a lot of these are in videos, in some of my other videos. This is I'm a craftaholic on the road to recovery. Oh, who am I kidding? I'm on the road to the art supply store. So she is fun and textured with flowers and some sari silk for her skirt. And then it just talks about why I love art supplies. And this is, are you treated like the rose or the thorns? That's a dark page. I like it though. And this week was super bad, and I needed a little me time to art journal and regroup my thoughts and get back on track. And then there's some three-dimensional flowers at the bottom that stick up. I'm using up Jolie flowers that I had from back in my scrapbooking days, and then I painted the rest of the daisies to make it look like a flow of daisies. And this is, it's an Earl Grey kind of day. So that's a Diane Reevely image that I liked the bottom part of it, and it was already on the page, and I didn't like the face, so that I did a collage face and changed it up. And I love how she turned out. She's super cute. And then there's an Earl Grey tea bag tag coming out from her crown. It's an Earl Grey kind of day. And this is a border of words. Fearlessly paint with abandon, because color changes everything. Make it your own. Let nothing come between you and creating. Be unfiltered and experience life. And this is I love to create. Using letters cut out of magazines. And this, are gnomes just a fantasy, or have you seen one lately? I like the gnomes kissing. And then there's a gnome up here who's being looked at under a magnifying glass. I love that page. I love gnomes, they're so cute. And this is I Try to Be Sweet, and she's got a cupcake with sprinkles. It's just chunky glitter, but she's got a cupcake hat. And this is Give Yourself a Hand, You've Finished Another Journal. I like that, with a border edge of letters and things that I punched out of magazines. And this cool hand here. And then my collaged dog, and I did a stamped crown that I embossed. And I used a circle to make the little border around the dog's neck, and then just trimmed off one little part of the circle so that I could layer them and make a little collar around the dog of flowers. So that's my journal. Hope you had fun watching. I love watching other people's art journal flip throughs. Every time I see one pop up in my feed, I watch it. So many people have so many different styles, and it gives you inspiration and ideas. So I hope that some of the things you saw in mine maybe gave you some inspiration and ideas. So thanks for stopping by, and I hope you're making art in your art journal, because art soothes the heart. Have a great day.